Good morning. Welcome to the show. It's the Brew. Today's Friday, and we have Paulina with us. Our three topics: Zuckerberg and Tim Cook of Apple. Are they butting heads a little bit? Let's find out. Are we heading into a bear market in 2025? And Amazon is getting into the auto business. Let's delve into that as well. All this and more after the bell.
It seems to be our new theme song. We got this.
I have my cowboy hat. I keep forgetting it. Every time I hear that song, I want to be a cowboy, and I keep forgetting that stupid hat in here. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Good to see you. Well, here we are again at the end of another week. Good golly, it's the middle of winter. Not really the middle of winter. It's sort of getting just into winter, I suppose. We don't want to talk about that, I know. But we do want to talk about, I think, Paulina, Zuckerberg was on with Rogan. Is that right? Tell us a little about what's going on here. I know it wasn't exactly his cheeriest moments with, relative to Apple. So what's going on?
Yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta Platforms, he went on an episode of Joe Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about a wide range of topics. As we know, those interviews range from like 2 to 3 hours long.
And wait, so sorry to interrupt. Can I just summarize? It's basically Zuckerberg saying, they made me do it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so basically what caught headlines was Zuckerberg's comments on Apple. So he was saying things like Apple lacks innovation. They have arbitrary rules around how companies can connect seamlessly on the iPhone platform and things along those lines. Specifically, he was saying how they've been sitting on the iPhone over the past 20 years that Steve Jobs has created, and that's kind of been what's driving their growth up to this point. And I think this is a critical time when Zuckerberg is making these comments, because there's antitrust cases against Apple. There's also a decline in demand for iPhones, not only in the US, but in China, which is a key growth market for Apple. And on top of that, Apple is actually slightly losing market share in the smartphone market globally. So it's a pretty interesting time that Zuckerberg is making these comments. And I will say that there wasn't too much pushback from Rogan's side. So it was more of like just kind of like a back and forth talking about the different controversies around Apple. And I will say that obviously Zuckerberg is kind of biased in this conversation, because years ago, Apple updated its iOS systems, making it more difficult for companies like Meta to access user data. And Meta's user data is super important to drive their advertising business. So obviously there's some, contention there with Zuckerberg.
Yeah. So wait, Molly, I know you're gonna have a question. Your question's gonna be better than mine, but
no, you go ahead.
I have a question for Paulina. I think she said along the way that Apple's losing market share for the smartphone. What other one is out there? Is it the Android? I forgot about that one.
Right.
Do people actually buy that?
I mean, well, yeah, Android is huge. And that's actually how Joe Rogan kind of leaned into this conversation. He was saying how much he hates the fact that in order to be in the Apple ecosystem, you have to be a life member, and how difficult it is to go from Apple to Android, but it's not difficult to go from Android to Apple. So yeah, Android is the other one. There's a lot of other Chinese competitors as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So, but you said, actually, how did the stocks respond after this interview with Rogan, this 3-hour marathon?
Yeah, they both ticked lower around 2%. So it wasn't market moving, but they did tick lower. I should note that the broader market was also down.
Oh, so yeah, it might have been part of the big sell off from last week, I believe it was the end of last week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Why does he bring this up now? What's in it for him, Zuckerberg? That is.
Yeah, I think this is coming at a really interesting time. Zuckerberg is trying to get the attention of the incoming administration, right? There's also a lot of, contention more broadly around big tech and how the Biden administration kind of put, I don't want to say an iron fist, but they definitely targeted a lot of these big tech firms that had a huge influence on the market. And Meta is one of those companies. So it could be a way for him to kind of divert the attention away from Meta and put it on other companies like Apple. So I think it's just more of, it being a climate of so many things happening, and he could be adding fuel to the fire. He could be adding a different perspective. So
I think, okay, Molly, I'm going to get you into this conversation now with the CT part of your brain. You ready?
Yes. Yeah.
So you mentioned it just now, Paulina. I think Zuck is getting a little bit on the Trump good side here because he was on the Trump bad side with Biden, and now we're starting to realize and learn that maybe the Biden administration put a little pressure on Meta and Facebook to kind of scour those posts and make them a little friendlier to that administration. That's what we're learning now. I'm not saying it's true. Do not know, but that's what we're starting to hear. And even Zuck came out and said, yes, they put a lot of pressure on me. Molly, anything?
Yeah, listen.
Look at that little brain going. Look at that thing going. Huh?
First of all, no points for switching sides so easily. And also Rogan coming onto the bandwagon so late in the game, also in the last few minutes. But I will say, Elon voices it well that, if things didn't go his way, his companies were done. And when did this happen? When did the governments gain so much control over the free markets? When do we have to pander to whoever's at the top? If I recall correctly, I think they work for us. I'm pretty sure they work for us.
Talking about, Ma.
Yes.
Well said.
I will give him a couple points for really, if you speak against that last administration, you're in deep waters. But yeah, I think at least he's speaking the truth, and all those emails are out for public view, and there weren't any recordings of the conversations, but at least it's getting out there, and I think people were waking up, and we'll see what happens from there. Yeah.
Interesting. Should be fun. Okay. So let's go to the bear market thing, Paulina. So are we heading into a bear market? So we know what happened. There was a strong December blowout jobs report, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
That says to the Fed, maybe we won't be lowering interest rates any further. Yeah. So what's happening with that baby?
Yeah, exactly right. And some on Wall Street, they're seeing this as confirmation that 2025 could be a rough one for the stock market. And what they look at is economic data. And of course, the jobs data is a huge economic indicator that the Fed also looks at too. And for December, as you said, there was a blowout jobs report. And this essentially says that the U.S. created a lot of jobs last month. And this means that the economy is chugging along pretty well. And obviously, this is good news for the economy, but it has a negative connotation to it because it gives it doesn't allow the Fed to continue its interest rate cutting cycle.
Right.
Why are interest rate cuts important? Well, they provide a lift to stocks. So and in addition to I should add to the blowout jobs report, unemployment also fell. So it was just a really good report. And so, yeah, a jobs report was really good. 2025 could potentially mean that the Fed no longer will be cutting rates. It could actually mean that they would raise rates, because when you cut rates, that means the economy isn't doing well. So when you have a strong jobs report, and this suggests that the economy is doing well, plus you have all these potential Trump tariffs that could cause inflation, well, that could be a case to actually increase rates, to tame inflation. So as a result, stocks struggle when there's high interest rates environments, because it puts pressure on profit margins for companies. So that's the whole narrative there.
Yeah. So it seems counterintuitive. You tell the American public, guess what, everybody? Everything looks good. Great people are being employed. Great jobs number, blah, blah, blah. And the market gets hammered. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. But the important point I think you made is that when you have a cost of capital that goes from here to here, it sort of stymies a little bit investment and capital investment, right? A little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of it, I guess. So that's kind of the problem. It's a little double-edged sword, right? We want to have great jobs and everyone employed, but at the same time, we'd love to have low interest rates on top of that, which would be great if you had the best of both worlds. But where we are now, coming from the old days of we had to raise interest rates so much to keep inflation intact, we're in that what I always call the no man's zone, of we haven't gotten all the bad juju out of the system yet, Anything from Mal, what are you thinking? Anything wonderful here?
I would just
West Coast?
I would just reiterate that Jerome Powell is of the last administration, and so you have to look at the jobs report and the data behind it. So they are independent, but there is interpretation pressures by political parties that are in power. So it's important to look at how those numbers are calculated. So a part-time job counted as a full job? Is that addition? So if someone loses their job and they only get a part-time job, is that an addition? Or they have two part-time jobs to create the same amount of income, is that an addition? So so how are those calculated? And if we have an administration that is not pro the incoming powers, is there a gas pedal and a brake happening at the same time? And so I would love to see those interest rates. We do need a cushion, though. So if we do have natural disasters, or we do have anything that we have to cushion, it's important that we do have some cushion on the interest rates. And it is lowest that it's ever been. Look at the 80s. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, cool. We'll keep an eye on this one, though. Obviously we're going to be seeing and hearing this a lot going forward. So this was a good one. Okay, last topic, Amazon. I got to be honest, I kind of am a monster fan of Amazon. Can I say that?
Yes, you can.
I can say that? So
yes, you can.
I did it again this weekend. Every time I get to a weekend, I notice that my spending habits go up on Amazon once Friday hits. Because it's free time on the weekends, we're obviously we work in the market, so they're not open on the weekends. So I don't work on the weekends, except think. I'm always hitting that Amazon machine and just, we need, I can't remember what I bought this time. I bought something stupid that I really didn't. Oh, it's a big water bottle. One of these deals here. But it was a 92 gallon and a 92 ounce. I got to hold like this. One of my kids had it. I'm like, I want one of those. What do? I'm not going to the store. I'm going to Amazon. Bam. So, having said that, how easy it is to buy stuff. You can buy cars now on Amazon, allegedly.
Wow.
What the heck is going on here?
Yeah, so now, along with your water bottles and toilet papers and everything, you can add a car to your checkout cart.
Seriously?
So yeah, Amazon is getting into the auto business, and they're starting this up through a Hyundai Amazon partnership. So Hyundai, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. They launched their car sales on Amazon Autos, it's called. So now, if you are interested in buying a car, you can do it on Amazon. You can browse there, order. You can even finance the car on there. There are, I think, roughly 54 dealers that are on there throughout the U.S. And yeah, the purpose of this is to streamline the car buying process, which is very in tune with the ethos of Amazon, trying to get the things that you need very quickly at a reasonable value. They actually want to reduce the car buying process to 15 minutes. So that's pretty impressive.
Wow. How do I barter? Because I never want to pay full retail. I always need a deal. I always want to bargain. Don't care what it is. I just want to get something off the retail.
Yeah.
Right.
So can you do that? Do you think? What's going on there?
That's a really good point. They say that as part of this process, it's going to increase transparency in the car buying process, and that the platform tries to make car shopping more transparent with better, clearer pricing and financing options that are available up front. So I don't know if that could potentially reduce that back and forth that we tend to have when we go to the car dealer. So that is one option. They also have trade-in options. So if you want to trade in your car, you can have an instant valuation for your existing vehicle. And yeah, so those are some of the features. They're trying to reach as many customers as possible through throughout the US. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So yeah, that's the Amazon Autos.
Yeah, I don't expect you to know this, but maybe we have a thought on it. So what's in it for Amazon? So you have a car dealership or a company that has has its profit margins built into their pricing. Obviously, Amazon's not going to tack something else on so that the car becomes more expensive to the consumer. That I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So is it accretive for Hyundai to say, okay, I'm going to give up some of my profits to Amazon because they have such a network of exposure. We're just going to sell more cars and make it up that way. I mean, maybe that's the answer. I don't know.
It potentially could be. I think that Amazon is trying to become the everything app. It has its tentacles in virtually every single industry. I mean, it makes its own chips, for God's sake. And it has, it's in the pharmacy business, it has Whole Foods. I mean, it's just, and it's able to scale into these businesses because it generates so much cash flow.
Yeah.
It's just one of the big tech companies that are able to do that. And it makes sense for an auto company like Hyundai, who may not have that reach that Amazon has, to want to partner with them to capture some of that scale.
Yeah. Interesting. Mal, would you shop online for a car? I did, sort of, right? I have a Tesla, truth be told. Yeah. So that is very similar.
Yes, I bought my Tesla online. That's true.
Right. So I went online. I did the thing. I didn't have many choices. Few choices to make. Check some boxes. At the end, it says you owe, I forget, $500 to save your spot in line. Yeah. And you're going to owe this and that when the car comes, and we'll see you in a month or two.
Right.
I couldn't barter at all, which kind of bugged me. I paid retail. What the heck? Are you kidding me? Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I believe Amazon in 2020 bought a company called Zoox, which is automated driving. And so there's, no steering wheel and all that. So I see them getting into the business. If we were going to look, can I sprinkle?
Sprinkle.
Own Nothing and Be Happy initiative that someone over there across the pond is pushing for globally. They might be getting into the service area as far as cars go. So possibly in the future, no one owns a car and they're just going to rent them or do driverless driving.
Yeah.
I, however, love my car and I love a good drive. So
Paulina being the young city gal probably doesn't even have a car in the city.
Yeah, right? Do you?
You're right. I actually don't have a car. I don't really need one. I would like one, to visit my family in different areas, but it really doesn't make sense just because the cost of parking and all the excess costs, basically. So yeah, I don't really. It's more of a want than a need.
I think when we're talking about Amazon, we should just touch base on AWS, and they're the leading, in server and cloud, And so are they, what's the chip business look like? So you mentioned it. So I just wanted to touch base on that. Their internal chip they're building is a family of ARM chips, ARM architecture, a big one called the Graviton. And then they have the EC2, which they're partnering with NVIDIA. And that's for virtual machines. And then serverless functions like Lambda. So I think the tentacles that reach out from Amazon are always important. And I think everyone's kind of keeping an eye on NVIDIA and ARM and who's going internal and external. And you have these hybrid arrangements there. But I think that's going to be with generative AI and that whole push. We're going to see the whole world change in the next couple of years. And so I think that's the thing to keep an eye on as far as the health of that stock. Yeah.
Interesting. Molly, do you read a lot? I mean, you come up with these.
Yeah, no, it's really important to not have a social
that
life.
Are like,
yeah.
How did she get that? I don't have that note.
Yeah, it's really important to not have a social life. That's really key here.
God, go out once in a while, for God's sakes.
If you'll visit me, I will. No standards.
Wow, she's throwing these fancy terms. Like Paulina, you have these fancy terms too, man. You guys got to get out more.
Yeah,
my goodness.
So you have no car in New York. Okay, so when you come visit LA, and just a brief shout out to everyone in LA and everything that everyone's going through. Yeah. Just heartfelt. I'm over here. But when you come visit, I'll tour you around in a car, and you'll love this place. It's still beautiful.
Yeah. I love LA, man. My God, my heart and prayers go out for all those suffering this crazy thing. It's horrible. I know it is. I see it on TV, and I know it's way worse in reality than what I'm seeing on the tube. So our prayers do go out to all those folks.
But I have to say, LA came out. Everybody's out there. Kind of the donations are there, and the help is there, and the volunteers, and they're just. I am so impressed with this town, and you don't know until you know what hits the fan. And wow, we really came out. So way to go there. Yeah.
Good. We'll be on it. Okay, guys and gals. I guess that is a wrap as far as I can tell. I'm looking at my notes here. But very interesting. I actually want to really follow this car thing with Amazon. I'm intrigued. I guess I'm also intrigued before we go. Why did they choose Hyundai? I mean, couldn't they have chosen I mean, Molly, you don't shop for Hyundais, you shop for Bentleys or something like that, right?
Teslas. I'm a loyalist.
You don't do those goddamn Hyundais. I wonder why they do. Do we know why they got in bed with Hyundai first? I mean, maybe they're probably bigger than I can ever imagine overseas, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I captured that. Amazon at CES earlier this month, they did announce some partnerships with BMW as well, and some other chip companies like Qualcomm to better enhance the in-car experiences. But specifically with Hyundai, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure specifically why they went with them.
Yeah.
So apparently they're openness to collaboration. So that's like a thing. So will they partner with Amazon, and their thumbs up on that? And then they do have a huge growing market share, and innovation and technology focus is huge for Hyundai. So it's probably one of those things.
Okay. Yeah. I try to look this up at myself. I'm finding similar things. That's interesting. Okay. I'm gonna keep my eye on that one. That was an interesting one. I like it. All right, ladies. Good to see you as always. Right. Do I still say go Eagles? Are they still in the playoffs? Yes.
Yes.
They are. Oh my God. They're in the playoffs. Paulina's an Eagles fan because she's from Philly, even though she lives in New York. Traitor. Good luck to them. I don't have a dog in the fight because the Bears just suck. They're horrible. LA Rams though. Yeah.
There we go.
So all good. All right, gals. We'll see you soon. And next time on the Brew. Okay.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.